but she, she's there, she's killing it, she's doing an amazing job. We miss you here at Napa Valley College, but we're glad to welcome you back, Austyn. And I don't want to tell much about your story. I want you to share those words, and she's going to share part of her story, leave our community with other critical items to think about as well. So I'm really excited to pass the mic over to our wonderful alumni, Austyn Ward.
Thank you so much, Luis. I miss y'all too, by the way. And I just want to thank everyone for being here. I'm going to share my screen. Give me just a second. Okay, so thank you guys for having me. I really want to thank Luis for the opportunity. He's always reaching out to me with new things to do. Literally since I met him, it's just been opportunity after opportunity. So I really do appreciate you for that. And I also want to thank Cynthia too. Like, she's been emailing me, sending me correspondence and just helping me. And I really do thank you for that. This is my first time ever doing a presentation, so I'm excited. And I hope that you guys find the information useful and encouraging. And thank you guys again for being here and just listening. I have to say, before I continue, happy Black History Month to everyone. I agree, Black History Month is a great day today and every day, especially in my household. And it's always a great day to be Black. I just want to say that we are important, we're resilient, beautiful, geniuses, and everything else above. And I really hope that this month and every day you celebrate yourselves. I'm happy to meet you, and I hope you guys enjoy the information that I'll be putting forward. So I am Mrs. Austyn T. Ward, used to be Austyn Jones. I am an applied mathematics major at UCLA. I will be getting my bachelor's this June 10th. The date was literally officially sent out like yesterday. So June 10th, 2022, I am so excited. I will also be receiving concentrations in statistics, accounting, and actuary science, it was hard, but I'm so happy that I'm able to have some concentrations and be able to bring those forward in my career. I am originally from Oakland, and of course, right now I am in Los Angeles. Like I said, I was married last year in June. That was one of the greatest accomplishments I've done. And right now, my husband and I, we have our own photography business called JMWard Images, hence the lighting and stuff in the background. And we've been having a lot of fun doing that. It's been a really great venture, starting my own business and being on top of just having and making my own money outside of getting jobs and careers and things like that. I encourage you all to look into it. If you like to do something, start a business. It's always great to make your own money. More about my academic career. At Napa Valley, I'm an alumni. I was a mathematics major. I received a few degrees, one in mathematics, one in physics, and one in natural science and math. I wasn't even trying to get a physics degree, but by the time I did so many classes to transfer to UCLA, I was able to get it. And I was like, hey, why not put it on there? Let's apply for it. And I encourage you all to look into those things as well. If you can get it, go ahead and get it. And I was also a member of so many groups: MESA, STEM, Phi Theta Kappa, Robotics Club, and so many more. I literally signed up for so many things. If they had opportunities and free food and occasionally gave a scholarship, I put my name down. And I encourage you all to, do your research and take advantage of all those resources as well. So when I initially agreed to give this presentation, I knew that I wanted to share my honest experience and hopefully through this help others to prepare for what could be ahead, and to remind you all that your well-being is just as important as your goals. So throughout this, I would like to share with you all how I was successful throughout my academic career. And please feel free to, drop some things in the chats if you have any questions. I don't mind being stopped. Yeah, just ask and participate as you wish. So this is how I was successful throughout my academic career. And this is not just in the classroom, but in life as well. I don't think that people fully understand the magnitude of how what is outside of school really affects your performance, your drive, your motivation, etc. in school. And I will be discussing how to balance school and personal life. I will also be discussing mental health, as well as what I did to correct myself and my bad habits, and how that was a big reason why I was successful. And the single most important piece of advice and the most important thing I did for myself, and what I encourage you all to do, is mind your mental. I cannot stress how important this is. And I'm actually thrilled that I am a Black woman coming to you on a day in Black History Month to talk about the taboo of mental health, because it really is underrated and it's really not used enough in our community. Taking care of your mental and emotional well-being is the most important thing that you will ever do in your life, and it should be a priority for everyone. If you aren't already doing something for your mental, from here on out, I charge you with the responsibility and the task of taking care of yourself and your emotional well-being. It's necessary. And before I go further, I want to give you guys some perspective into my life and how I learned how to do the right thing by doing the completely wrong thing, if that makes sense to you guys. But let me explain. So this is me, the little Black cutout, little cute little thing. And I'm gonna be completely honest, 100% honest. So let's go back to when I was a student at Napa Valley. So I'm dealing with the pressure of school. I'm getting good grades. I had like a 4.0 GPA. When I graduated, it was more like a 3.8, but I'll explain that later. So, and I'm experiencing school as healthy pressure. And I do believe that school is healthy pressure. Everyone wants to succeed. Everyone wants to get good grades. It's no biggie. My response to this is to push through. Shortly before graduation, my husband, then boyfriend, his mom passed away. And this was hard in general, of course, dealing with loss, but it was particularly hard because we were the ones making the arrangements, and it was just us, and we were dealing with the business of it all. So therefore, I'm putting my emotions on hold so my husband can mourn, and we're still making these decisions, and we kind of don't even know what we're doing because no one tells you what to do on top of mourning at the same time. But through it all, I'm still thinking, just push through, push my emotions down, deal with it later, and keep pushing through. And at the same time, I'm receiving college acceptance letters. I applied to about 10 schools. I got into every single one of them except the school that I wanted to go to, which is crazy. So now I'm distraught. I'm thinking the world is gonna just fall through the sky. I'm stressed. Excuse me, I'm stressed, and all of a sudden I need to make different plans. Spoiler alert, I chose UCLA, not only because of their reputation, but because they decided to give me a whole bunch of money. And that was really important to me as well, choosing a college. And so I accepted the offer, and now I'm moving to LA. But I hate moving. So we wanted to make it easier and keep the costs minimal. So we're literally throwing out everything. We packed our car, packed our mom's car, we're headed to LA. And then when we get here, we realized that we underestimated how expensive moving was. So we got to our apartment, and I remember us having a conversation like, hey, I think we need a bed. And we're like, oh yeah, that would be a good idea. Or hey, maybe we should go buy some towels so we can take a shower. Oh yeah, that would be a good idea. Or hey, we need to eat. Maybe we should buy a plate. Literally, it was buffoonery. We were a hot mess. So I say this to say we were capital broke. And being broke is stressful, especially in a new city. It's just us. We don't know anybody. So I'm stressed thinking, man, like, was this a bad decision? Oh my goodness, are we gonna make it through? But I'm just pushing through. I'm shoving it down. And I'm like, whatever, just keep going. Oh my goodness, yeah, that was a hard time. And so then classes start at UCLA, and UCLA is hard. Like, really hard, like another level of hard that I've never experienced in my life. Napa Valley prepared me absolutely academically and on so many other levels, but this level was like, okay, like this is big league, and it's just different. And it was like a culture shock almost. I felt like I was behind on the first day of lecture. I did not know what my professors were saying to me. Felt like a completely different language. And it was difficult because I'm usually the person asking questions and raising my hand and being a really good participant in class. But I remember feeling like I had questions and I didn't know what questions to ask at the same time. It's a contradiction, but it was a real feeling. I was so confused. And then, this is important, imposter syndrome bounced in my life just like it did right on the screen. Now we're going to touch back on imposter syndrome later because I think it's a really, really important topic to talk about as Black people and just people of color in general. But basically, I didn't feel like I belonged at UCLA. I thought to myself, man, I made a huge mistake. Do I belong here? I can't do this work. I know that I just came from Napa Valley with a 4.0 GPA and all these accolades and scholarships and things like that, but do I really belong here? I know I got the acceptance letter and they gave me all this money to encourage me to come, but man, did they make the right decision? And I was having a hard time believing that the opportunity was for me. And so now I'm feeling even more pressure. And I'm thinking, man, I just moved my little family out here. We don't have any money. We don't know anyone. Can I really succeed? But of course, I'm still thinking, keep pushing through, shove it down and push it through. And then COVID happened and it changed everything. It changed how I went to school. It changed how we lived. And it just gave me another sense of uncertainty outside of school that I was not able to control. And that was stressful in itself because I felt like I had lost so much control in my academic career. And then shortly after that, I started experiencing panic attacks and anxiety, and I hated it with everything. I felt uncomfortable and unsafe in my own skin, but for me, this was the final straw, and I knew that I needed to stop just pushing through and start looking for help so I can start acknowledging my own feelings. It took all of these things sitting on top of my shoulders, just like it is in this representation, and it took all of this to weigh me down in order for me to get so heavy emotionally that I was stopped and forced to listen to my body. And this is how I did it wrong. And I hope showing you guys this diagram really puts it into perspective of how having all these things on your shoulders and not dealing is not the right way to go. And this is what my mountain looks like. And I hope that it encouraged you to start getting on top of your mountains, because as things go on, they get harder. It really does get harder. And I really do want to encourage you guys to start looking at some of the things that you're dealing with and go ahead and let's sift through it. Let's unpack it and let's break it down so we can move on and be able to enjoy what's to come in our future. But because of the changes that I made, I am 100% more successful and confident in my abilities. I am literally on top of all these things and so much more. Instead of my issues smothering me and weighing me down, I am able to process these things on my own. Learning how to handle stress when things got harder was the best thing that I ever did for myself. And now when I'm anticipating handling stress or stressful situations, or just when things randomly come up, because let's be honest, we don't control anything, I know how to move on through the process that doesn't diminish who I am or what I feel. And because I'm taking the necessary steps to be better, I am better. I'm graduating from one of the best universities in our country. I've received several scholarships. I'm part of several supporting communities. I have networked and been in the room with some very important people, and I was seen and I was fully present. Because if I didn't deal with these things, I probably would have just been a fly on the wall and not being seen and seemed like I wasn't confident with myself. I learned to give myself my own flowers and pay attention to my own feelings. With the support that I sought out and the resources that I gathered, I am a better person because of it. I am climbing and conquering my own mountain, and I'm proud of myself for it. And I want you all to look back and be able to be proud of what you're doing and say, hey, I was fully present. I didn't let stress and anxiety take away from my experiences. And I really want you guys to be proud of yourselves too. And before we move on to some of the solutions I have, I do want to touch on imposter syndrome, because I think this is a big thing for people of color when they go into new situations, especially when there isn't any representation for us and we have to be our own representation. So I'm going to read this. This is the definition. Imposter syndrome refers to the belief that one is incompetent in their field, that others have more knowledge or skills than they do in a certain area, or that their accomplishments are due to luck, chance, or even their appearance, and has little to do with their own efforts or hard work. These individuals are typically high achievers and feel this way despite having previous experiences of success and are unable to internalize their accomplishments, causing feelings of persistent self-doubt. I want you all to understand, even if you don't get anything else out of this, that imposter syndrome is a lie. Imposter syndrome is a lie. And one more time for the people in the back, imposter syndrome is a lie. Attending a PWI, which means predominantly white institution, it has its own challenges aside from learning and just being a student. It's a mental battle as well. And since my time at UCLA, I have been the only Black and one of a few women in literally all of my classes. I picked a major that is dominated by Caucasians and people of Asian descent at UCLA, and I wasn't ready for that. Napa Valley was so diverse, and I was able to see all kinds of different people that when I came to UCLA, it was like, okay, like this, it's interesting to be in a room, and I obviously stick out. And because I was having a hard time anyway, I was looking for that representation for myself so that I could feel safer. But I never found that, not in my department, definitely not in my department. And I was able to find it later when I did my own research and was able to be a part of other groups and communities. It sucks that sometimes as people of color, we don't have the opportunity to have a shoulder that's familiar. We have to be our own representation. We have to be our own cheerleaders, and we have to be unicorns and figure it out anyway. And this is why I want to emphasize even more that imposter syndrome is a lie and doubt does not serve you. I would like everyone to write this down, take a picture, something. This is a great affirmation. This is a great reminder every day, even as a screenshot, that you belong in the room that you're going into. And the truth is, you belong wherever you want to go. You belong in any room you walk into. You've already accomplished so much, and there is so much more for you to succeed at. And you really do belong here in the next place that you go. Understanding your worth is essential to your success in school, in your career, and in your personal life. If you know your worth, no one else can sell you short or tell you that you're something that you know you're not. Understanding where your doubt is coming from and working through it is a learned skill, and one of the many healthy habits that I believe is really essential to have. We're going to move on to discussing some healthy habits, but I want you to understand that it was not easy conquering my mountain. And it's probably not going to be easy conquering your own mountains either. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of reaching back into your past, into uncomfortable things and dealing with that so you can move into your future. It takes a strong will to want to change how you used to think and replace it with healthier ways of solving problems. And also, everyone's journey isn't the same. What works for me might not work for you, but I still want to share my experiences with healing with you all, because it can at least give you an idea of how to go about taking care of yourself so you can be successful. And we all have different goals, be it at NVC or whatever college you're transferring to or whatever it is in life. Excuse me. And they're all amazing and attainable, but I don't believe that we will be able to enjoy our successes if we don't take care of our inner peace and balance. So these are some of the things that I did to help my mental, and hopefully, you know, they'll resonate with you with how you can also be successful at school, at home, or whatever it is. So I sought out professional help. I started going to therapy, and I'm so blessed to be a student at an institution with the #1 medical services in California, because I literally had so many free options for therapy that I know others wouldn't have at other institutions. And I'm so happy that I took advantage of it, because for one, as a student, you get free healthcare. Absolutely take advantage of all the free healthcare because it's expensive out here. Um, and it changed my life. And in therapy, I've learned to confront my past to be better for my future. And I'm proud to say that I'm doing the work to end generational curses and to break loose from the stigma that Black people don't do therapy, or really people of color just don't do therapy in general. And I'm happy that I am doing therapy, and I am comfortable letting all of you know that therapy is great and it's fine and no one's going to eat you alive. It's helpful. It really is helpful. I learned more about myself in sessions than I ever have on my own. Having an ally there to hold you accountable for choosing and prioritizing your mental and emotional health is everything. But it also means that having an ally will also let you know when you're wrong and when you need to hear that. You have to be able to take the pleasant with the unpleasant to really get the growth that you're looking for. And I encourage you all to start seeking help, to start unpacking some things, and to start healing, not only for you, but for your kids and your children's children, and even for your parents. I know my parents and just my older generations are kind of stuck in, I don't need help. And so I do know personally that me going to therapy, it's opened up the conversation with my mom a lot. You never know like who needs something and how that can help anyone in your family or friends, or how you can be the person that's going to be the unicorn for someone and say, hey, okay, they're doing it, I'm going to do it too, especially because I know that I need help right now. Another healthy habit that I had was get healthy, get physical, literally. I think people underestimate the correlation between how well you're fueling yourself and moving your body and how well you're performing inside and outside of class. Being a broke college student is real. Been there, done that. Sometimes I'm still there. But having a healthier diet really does make a difference in how we move through our days and how our mood is. Switching junk food out for healthy snacks, or opting for no meat for a day, something like that. Those are small changes that you guys can make that will have a big impact on how you're performing and how you're seeing things and the way that you see yourself. And in addition to this, get physical, take a walk, join a free fitness class. There are so many free resources out there now. And try something new. Getting your body moving is some of the best free therapy that I've ever done on my own. There's been some times where it's like, man, I don't even know how I feel. I take a walk and I come back like, okay, I'm clear. Like I can see things clearly, and now I can resolve some things, whatever it was that I was dealing with. Getting healthy and getting physical, and it's not about losing weight. It's about giving your body a proper physical outlet and sufficient energy it needs to serve you best. If your body is starving, then your mental is starving too. If your body is thriving, then your mental is thriving as well. There's definitely a correlation between that. And I advise you all, if you can make some changes, make some changes. And it's better for the long run too. It's a longer life. So that's always amazing. Another thing that I did, and this is really, really important, is practicing self-care. Self-care looks different for everyone. It can be painting, shopping, hiking. My personal favorite is taking a nap, writing, taking pictures, literally anything that's relaxing and relieves stress for you. Self-care is essential to being successful, because you have to put your needs first to be fully present and capable. How can you expect yourself to be there if you're only taking care of yourself and only taking care of if you're only taking care of others and only taking care of yourself sometimes? It doesn't work like that. Setting aside some time in your day, simply dedicated to you and what you want to do, starts a habit of showing yourself how important you are to you. It starts the habit of showing yourself of how important you are to you. That's really, really important. We put education, of course, on a pedestal, and it is important. We put careers and making money on a pedestal, and that's important too. But always keep in mind that if you aren't there and you aren't well, none of those things can be. None of those things can happen at Napa Valley, in your career, at UCLA, wherever you want to go. Being present and taking care and listening to your body is one of the most important things that you can do to as a healthy habit to start. And self-care isn't selfish. I hear people say that all the time. Like, I feel so selfish taking all this time to just think about me and no one else. It is not selfish at all. And to be honest, that's what everyone else is doing. They're making decisions for themselves. They're taking that time to say, nope, I'm going to do this for myself. So why not you? Why can't you stop and say, hey, I'm going to say no to this so I can sit at home and play video games, because that's what I want to do. And that's how I'm taking care of myself right now. Whatever you need to do for your self-care, I advise everyone to do it. Create a space only for you and be particular with how you use your space. Make sure that there's positive energy in your space. There's no mess, there's no negativity, people that you don't want there. Be particular and be pushy and really create your space for how you want your space to be. It's self-care is sacred, and it should absolutely be practiced. Another one, and this is big, is finding a community. When I was at Napa, I remember having MESA, STEM, robotics, man, Phi Theta Kappa. I was at the Career Center. I had so many different communities that served many different purposes. And I know that just from experience, having a community can make an experience go from mediocre to this is the best experience ever. Having a community of people behind you that have the same interests as you and support you is a great feeling. Luckily, there are so many clubs, organizations, and groups you can join on campus that can provide a safe space for you. If you need to study, if you need to talk to someone, or if you just need to have a space just by yourself so you can think for a while. Whatever it is you need, there is a community for it. If you unfortunately aren't able to find a community that you are completely comfortable with, create one. Creating your own space that can fulfill your needs is completely possible. And there are definitely going to be other people that are going to think the same, just like you, and think, man, this is a great community. I love this. I'm going to join this one. And not just on campus, but at home as well. Having a supporting community at home, or at least a space of your own, has immeasurable benefits. My husband has been my biggest fan since we met back in Vallejo, right before I started going to Napa Valley, and he is my biggest support now. He's encouraging and brutally honest when I need it. So I love my community at home and the communities I found on campus that support me when I need it. Right now on campus, the biggest community I go to right now is the Scholarship Resource Center. Having a networking there has made the difference of, man, I think I need to get a job. And actually, no, I don't, because my scholarship lady found me some more money. Or going to the Black Bruin Research Center here at UCLA has been the difference between, man, maybe I should go home, but I don't want to because I'm not going to be unproductive. And hey, I know that there's space in the Black Bruin Resource Center that I can go sit down and study and be productive instead of going home knowing I'm not going to be productive. So things like that. And outside of campus or at home, there are a lot of organizations and community centers, and even in neighborhoods, that are available to take advantage of as well. So let's say for whatever reasons you don't like the resources at school and you don't have a space for yourself at home, I encourage you all to look up some things in your neighborhood, in your community. When I used to live in Vallejo, literally like a half a block away was a community garden. And I would go there sometimes when there was people and they were, gardening and moving things around, just to be around some people and get some release and to talk to some people about gardening, which we're all passionate about. It really does make a difference to have some people behind you that say, hey, I know you and I support you. And I encourage you all to look up what kind of options you have, as far as finding a community, and to see what suits you better. These are some other important skills that I absolutely want to mention, and these are definitely things that I encourage you all to look into practicing. Time management, that is a big one. Knowing when you have too much on your plate and dispersing your time effectively to make room for self-care, homework, classes, personal time, etc. That is so, so, so important. And having adequate time management skills will keep you from spreading yourself too thin. My advice with time management is to be stingy with your time. Be completely particular and strategic with how you spend it. If you know that you have a test coming, like for instance, this week, I knew I had that to prepare a presentation. I've had a couple midterms this week. And then on top of that, my sister is planning her wedding and we've been having a couple meetings. So while I'm doing the things that I'm obligated to do, I'm not going out with friends because I need that time for me. Or instead of taking this time to go to this new place that I know will be there next week, nope, not this week. I'm going to take this time for me because I know I have some things coming up and I know that I could use some release and I know that I could use some time to really de-stress. So time management is so, so, so important. And again, please be particular and stingy about your time. Not everyone deserves your time. Not everyone deserves your energy. So I really do I really do advise you guys to be particular with that. Another one is networking. Knowing people is an asset. It is true that you never know who you will meet. Friends are so important to being successful because everyone has a skill. Everyone knows somebody, and someone could have some information that is important to you, but you wouldn't know because you were too shy to say hi, or you were like, man, I don't want to reach out. That's kind of awkward. Be that person that's going to say, hey, I'm going to reach out to you because I don't know, like you may know something that I want to, or hey, I'm going to make at least a couple friends in every single one of my classes because you guys might know something that I don't, or I might know something that you don't, or however it goes. Always meet new people wherever you go. It's a really, really great benefit to have friends and that know somebody. It's awesome. Another really big important one is saying no. We can be people pleasers sometimes. And even more than that, we can be too concerned with what someone thinks if we don't show up or help out. If we don't show up or help out, especially now with social media, there's such an emphasis on getting all this approval and having to be present on certain things to be so cool and things like that. Nope. Say no. I am so happy that I learned how to say no because I'm quick to say no if I need to for my own well-being. Of course, I'm happy to do great opportunities that's going to expand myself, but saying no is really, really, really important. If it's taking from your goals or your peace, say no. Learning how to say no will keep you happy. And I encourage you all to practice saying no at least once a day to free some time up for yourself and to take care of yourself. No is such an important word. It's just as important as yes, but I think no might have a little bit more of a bigger impact when it comes to your personal life. Another thing is taking a break. Before you start feeling burnt out and run down and just like there is no more you to go around, take a break. Like when I'm studying, a quick 10-minute refresher for every hour will have me studying throughout the night versus trying to keep studying for however long I can. And now I'm really burnt out. And now I really don't want to do this anymore. It'll build your endurance versus trying to study for as long as you can without breaks. If something is exhausting, take a break. For instance, in school, as you guys know, when I started, it was really, really difficult. I was supposed to be out of UCLA last year, but I decided instead of putting all these classes on top of myself, I'm going to give myself a little less, and give myself opportunity to have more breaks throughout my day because it helped my mental. And staying one more year really didn't mean that much to me versus how much my mental health meant to me. So I'm so happy that I allowed myself to take those breaks that I needed, even though it took a little bit more time, but I'm more successful because of it. Because instead of stressing and thinking about, man, I can't do this or this is too much, I'm at a pace that's doable for me. And that's really all that matters. Taking a break and be at a pace that's doable for you. And the biggest one, and I'm so happy to say this in front of my Black people and my people of color, ask for help. Sometimes we are too proud. We are always expected to be the strong Black woman, the strong Black man, the strong person of color who's just, has everything under control. Ask for help. And on top of that, you would be really surprised with how many people are willing to help you because you didn't ask anyway. There's always people there that are willing to help if you just come up and say, hey man, I need help. I don't understand what you said in lecture. Can you repeat everything? And they're like, okay, let's go through it step by step. Or, hey, I need to get a scholarship. I do not know where to start. Okay, these are some ones I have right now. Let me just sign you up for all of them so we can just, skip a step. Whatever it is, ask for some help. And it takes a village sometimes, even for adults. I call my mom all the time just to sit and talk, just to be like, hey, can you help me with this? I need your advice. And she's happy to do it. I'm sure because she's my mom, but also because she's a great person too. And she's happy to help. Or like my husband asks him for help all the time. And that's the kind of relationship we have. Or going to school and my professor saying, hey, I need help with this. I didn't fully understand that. Whatever it is, asking for help is so, 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 so important to your success. Going to your communities and like either a MESA or STEM or whatever it is that you like to go and saying, hey, I need help. Is there someone here that's taken this class before that can help me understand this problem? At Napa Valley, that's when I really learned, okay, people are down to help because they were so nice. I would go into MESA and like get so much help. And then from that, I'm making friends and now I'm networking. And now, we're all together and we're thinking about all these things. And it's a great way to build community as well, asking for help. So this slide is really, really important. I would like you guys to take a picture if you can, write it down. However, having resources is probably, aside from minding my mental, is probably the best way to be successful at Napa, at UCLA, whatever college, in your career, personal life, whatever. And these are just some of the ones that I know about. Of course, it might be a different name where you're going or where you're at, but for the most part, there are so many resources that you guys can take advantage of. And I really do encourage you all to go through this and go through and do your research about where you want to go or where you're planning to go and see the kind of things that they offer you for help, so that let's say when you do get there, you already know where you're going. Oh, I'm going to go to the tutoring center, or I'm going to go to my community programs office and things like that. I just want to go through some of these. So Phi Theta Kappa is an honor society. I'm pretty sure that at any university, they have so many different honor societies, and they do things like this one. They did like conventions and they gave information about scholarships, jobs, things like that. So definitely look into that. Everyone knows about MESA and STEM. Definitely get into your STEM program with like-minded people that are able to talk math and physics and whatever it is, so that you can have a community that's understanding what you're going through. The Scholarship Resource Center, like I said, has been the most important thing for me. I look at going to UCLA and to college, and I think you guys should all too, look at it as a job and not necessarily school. It is school and we are learning, but when you're in university and you have to get your units and it's paying you, it's a full-time job now. You have to, and you have to keep that going. And so sometimes I would have to think, okay, maybe I need to get a job. And then when I go to the Scholarship Resource Center, she says, nope, don't get a job. Focus on school. I have some extra money that no one claimed, that no one applied for. I'll just put your name down for it. And that's the difference between me splitting my time at school and at work and just being strictly at school. Definitely go to whoever has the money at school and make some friends, because that is a really, really good resource. NSBE is the National Society of Black Engineers. This one has been a really good one. They have some really great information on their websites and things like that. The Transfer Center is so great. There's definitely like-minded people there too that are transfers. They can talk about their experience coming from a JC usually, and to coming into the California College University system. So at UCLA, it's called the Undergraduate Mathematics Student Association. And through this, when you sign up, and I'm pretty sure there's something like this everywhere, but when you sign up in your department, they send you emails, or for me, they send me emails weekly that talk about, hey, there's this internship opening up, make sure you apply. Or, hey, do you need a job that's on campus in the office? Here's this opportunity. Hey, there's this scholarship. Hey, a hackathon is coming up if you need to get some experience on your resume. We have math leads coming up. All these different opportunities that's going to make you look better as a student and throughout your career. That is the place to go. Look into your department for all the events and all the things that they have. Another one is the Black Ruin Resource Center and the African Student Union. This is, I'm pretty sure everywhere as well, but probably just name something different. To have a space to go to where there's people that look like you, it means everything. So I encourage you to definitely find somewhere that have people that are like you. You can go to the Latinx Community Center, Asian Bruins, whatever it is, whatever the club name is, definitely find somewhere of people that have the same cultural background as you. It really does make a difference having representation and having students look like you and that can tell you their experience. So you can go, man, I feel the same way. How do we overcome this? How do we put our heads together and think about this? Another one at UCLA is the Academic Advancement Program. So this program is specifically for people that are first generation students and people that are non-traditional college students, either older or transfer, military, things like that. And they literally have a place for you to come to get tutoring, to get food, to sit and have counseling. Counseling is in the same building. So having a program like this means that you get an exclusive opportunity, like for instance, at tutoring. There's thousands of people on campus at UCLA. And to have a program like this where I get first dibs to get into some tutoring and to get some help, it's everything. If not, you'll be on a waiting list for the next few years with how many people there are at these big universities. Definitely find something that's going to give you some VIP access into getting the access that you need. This big one, the counseling and psychological services, it's huge. Every school, I believe, has their own doctor, their medical, dental, whatever it is. And I'm pretty sure they have their own psychological services. This is what was offered through UCLA and what I use all the time if I'm ever just feeling some kind of way and I need a little bit of help or just want to talk to a professional. I encourage you all to look into what you're offered medically with whatever benefits, just whatever you can get being a student that's medical. I really do think that you guys should look into that. And why not? Usually it's free, or if it's not free, it's like $5 or something like that. Definitely look into that. And this other one, the Community Programs Office, I don't know if I've ever heard of anything at any other schools, but this at UCLA, it's a place where you can go that of course has some free physical activities, swimming and gym and things like that, and other resource centers like the Veterans Center and stuff, but they also have a test bank. And at this test bank, you can go into this office and say, hey, right now I'm taking this class, Math 131A, whatever it is, which is analysis. I'm currently in that. And you can say, hey, we have a midterm. Can I get a past midterm? And they will give you the test and the exams from the semester before so you can study it for your test then. I've never heard of that, and it's such a great resource because it prepares you. Taking these things to tutoring, taking these things with your friends, it really will give you an edge on, okay, this is how I know the test is going to be. And also at the CPO, they have a food closet. They leave it open, I want to say like between 9 to like 5 or 6, to where people donate food to the school and they literally display it to where you walk in and it's like kind of like a little grocery store, and you're able to pick some things up for yourself for that day, and there's a microwave in the next room. Eat something for lunch, pick up some noodles and some sauce for dinner for you to make when you get home. I really encourage you all to figure out who is giving out food, because I know food insecurity is such a big thing. And like I expressed before, being healthy and fueling yourself really is a big part of your success. So I really do think that you guys should look into that. Of course, the LGBTQ plus community, career center, you need a job, go there. There's always somebody that knows someone. And I put the volunteering community down because it's really fulfilling to me, especially having received so much for myself in my school career and just in regular career, to give back. And I really do encourage you all, if you have a little bit of time, to just give back, even if it's picking up trash, I don't know, going down and giving some free tutoring to some kids, playing with some kids in an after school program, whatever it is that sparks your interest, I really do encourage that you give back. And I also encourage you guys to check for other resources in your department, in your neighborhood, whatever it is. And also, if you guys see anything that's here that you don't recognize or anything that you do know about, drop it in the chat. And yeah, feel free to write it down or whatever it is, because there's literally resources everywhere. Having the right resources makes a difference. And it's a difference between, man, I don't think I can do this, and okay, I got this. I know where I'm going with this. And I have the community behind me that can definitely support me, and I know where I need to go to get this. So yeah, and again, please, please, please drop some in the chat. I would love to see some new resources, especially going to go into the career world to see, you know, what other kind of things I can do and what other kind of people I can know, and that can put me outside of my comfort zone. So yeah, resources are really, really, really big. And with all of that, that is all of my advice I have for you. Hopefully I didn't scare you with how interesting my process was, but I wanted to be honest, because I really wanted to show you guys, hey, through the worst, and for me it was the worst, here I am still here. I'm about to graduate. I cannot wait. It's gonna be big, gonna be a party, we're gonna have fun, all of that. And I encourage you all to be successful. Take care of you. It does not happen without you. And I want to let you guys know, here's my email, my personal email address. If you have any questions, right now I do want to open it up to questions. But yeah, if you just want to say hi, if you think of something else after this, yeah, shoot me an email. I don't care. I'll answer. I like friends. And I want to thank you guys again for coming. I know we're, getting short, and I really do want to open up some time for some questions. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you for listening. I hope your days are awesome. Happy Black History Month to everyone. Keep being just an authentic version of yourself. Yeah, this was great. Thank you guys so much for listening.
And thank you, Austyn, so much for being here and sharing all these valuable tips and your journey with all of us. We appreciate it. And please, anybody, put any questions you have in the chat or unmute yourself, and you can ask Austyn or comment anything about the presentation.
I'm also going to put my email in the chat. I know I just stopped the presentation.
This is Alex Guerrero. I'm the interim senior dean of counseling and student success. I just want to thank you for sharing your story and for sharing your words. I think they're really valuable and important. As a first generation student myself, somebody who transferred and experienced higher education, a lot of what you spoke about earlier around imposter syndrome is a real thing that we need to take into consideration. And even to this day in my profession, in my job, there are moments where that creeps up. So it's a real thing that we have to continue to work on, to check when it comes up. But I just wanted to say I appreciate your words and your wisdom today. So thank you very much.
Of course, I appreciate that. Yeah, imposter syndrome. I remember when I first went through it, it was really scary. And it was really doubting. And I just felt like, man, I don't know what to do with this. And that's why I really did want to reiterate, getting some help. I didn't know what imposter syndrome was until my therapist said, this is imposter syndrome. I'm like, that, is matching exact everything that I'm feeling. And then from there, giving it a name and calling it something was how I was able to go, okay, how do we resolve this? How do we find a solution? So I'm so happy that you said that. And I really hope that hopefully we don't have those feelings, but the world happens all the time. And hopefully I gave you guys some resources to really, not push through it, but to solve it and to resolve it and to remember who you are. I do see a question in the chat, and some advice that I can give besides transfer is, one thing that I wish I would have did more was use the degrees that I got from Napa. I was so stuck on transferring that when I got these degrees, I was like, okay, cool, I got a degree. 3 degrees at that, but let me just go ahead and just be a student and just focus on this again, which is of course important, focusing on what's next. But if you can, use your degrees. I remember after I graduated and I started UCLA, I would get calls from people saying, hey, I saw your profile on LinkedIn. I see you have these degrees. I have a job for you. At that time, I don't know why I didn't take it, because I was like, oh, I'm a student. I don't know if I can handle that. But absolutely use your degree. And I think that's something that I would do differently after graduating, besides just transferring. Of course, wherever you're going, do your research, figure out wherever it is that you decide to go, do your research ahead of time, to where the first day of school, you already know, these are the things that I want to find. These are the resources I want to take advantage of. So you can already be ahead of the game. And that's the advice that I would give. Okay, the community program office at UCLA, yeah, it's so unique. I never heard about it before UCLA, but it's so great because, like I said, you get to see all of the past things from your class to prepare for your now class. But some alternate things, like let's say if where you're going doesn't have a community programs office or doesn't have that test taking resource that you can have, I would recommend honestly getting with your friends, and a lot of times asking your professor for like, hey, can I get a practice test? Can you create one? Asking them, of course, in enough time. I wouldn't ask them like a week before the exam, because they're probably going to say no, but definitely bringing it up, letting your professors know, hey, I need a practice exam, or I want to see how the layout is so I can be fully prepared. Definitely forming study groups, going to tutoring, talking to people that have taken the class before that can give you some insight into this is how these tests are going to be. I would look into these things. Yeah, that has been really, really important. And another way that I was really successful, just networking and being in my professor's face. And that's another thing, please be in your professor's face. They're there for you to do that. Like, even if they're like, oh, this girl again. And I've done that before with one professor. I would walk in and he'd be like, here comes Austyn with all the questions. But I would be happy. I would be like, hey, professor, here's another question for you. And he's like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and help, because of course he had to help. But it's really great to be in your professor's name. I've always thought it was a great thing if my professor knew my name. They see thousands of students a day, even more like throughout their whole career. And if they know my name, I feel like, okay, I did great, because they know my name and they know my face and they say hi to me. I have professors now that when they see me, they're like excited to see me. So that's really, really great. And of course, thank you guys for listening to my wisdom and all my experiences. And yeah.